Hello friends, this is Perla with Missionaries of God's Love in Tustin, California. Remember that when we start our prayers and meditations, it is important for us to want and to wish to find yourselves with God, because God only comes to you when you truly love and look for Him. So today, let's choose to be a follower of the Lord. Let's prepare ourselves for our encounter with God by opening our hearts and preparing our body and mind. Let's start today by sitting upright and our shoulders relaxed. Let's take a deep breath in as we fill ourselves with God's presence. Invite God and the Holy Spirit into your heart and soul. In today's meditation, we are going to talk about how we can be free without any chains to be able to walk alongside God. Today, let's take a look at a few phrases from the book, The Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis. Jesus Christ says, "Strive for this, pray for this, desire this, to be stripped of all selfishness and naked to follow the naked Jesus, to die to self and live forever for me. Then all vain imaginations, all wicked disturbances and superfluous cares will vanish. Then also immoderate fear will leave you, and inordinate love will die. My child, you must strive diligently to be inwardly free, to have mastery over yourself everywhere, in every external act and occupation. That all things be subject to you, and not you to them. That you be the master and director of your actions, not a slave or a mere hired servant." What beautiful words, my friends. All of these words reinforce the idea that He wants us free, and not as slaves. Free from attachments, the ego, and vanity, to be able to see God's light. To be able to enjoy the peace and happiness from those that are not chained to themselves, their sensuality, their wishes, ego, ideas, and the world that surrounds them. My friends, God does not want any of His children to be chained to anything. My friends, with sadness, I have seen firsthand the way many people seek acceptance from others, where even parents try so hard to please their children by offering them candies, gifts, and other sweets in life, just so their children will favor them over the other parent. These parents are seeking the preference of their children and do not try to educate them at all, but give their children everything. So it comes to no surprise that the children will obviously prefer the parent that spoils them. Many life coaches have written books, created videos, and discussions about topics such as these. Some of these coaches focus on telling their clients that in order to fix these problems, they need to focus on their ego and love themselves more and adore themselves, and that life revolves around only you. Only focus on yourselves and never others. While it is true that we should love ourselves, but we should not do so in an unhealthy manner. We should never become egoists in our life. Many of these coaches do this for their own agenda. They are only trying to get us to follow them, to buy their books, videos, courses, and not because they actually want us to become better versions of ourselves. On the contrary, they're actually making people become worse versions of themselves. Yes, we should love ourselves, but we should never become selfish egoists, and we should never exaggerate our love for ourselves, because instead of being filled with good, we will become corrupted by venom. In fact, those that love themselves in a healthy manner, my friends, are happy with themselves, and they do not need or feel a desire to think about themselves all the time. The exaggeration of the love of the self is what has impacted so many of our children, youth, and adults nowadays, and results in isolation and loneliness. And look at all the consequences, my friends. With this crisis epidemic of depression and anxiety, it creates anguish in people. The person that is spiritually healthy lives not for themselves, but for God. They live with a very clear sense of their life every day. They put in practice everything they have learned about God's clear plan. We came to this world to be happy by making others happy with the talents that God has given us. Yes, my friends, we are here to be happy, but not with egoism like the world believes. Not with material possessions or overabundance with money and pleasures. No, that is the wrong way to be happy, my friends. Those are drugs, ephemeral forms of happiness that result in lonely emptiness after the effect has passed. No, the way to be happy, like God intended, is to do what you are intended to do. Make others happy with the talents God has granted you. How is a deer supposed to be happy? By being a deer. How is an eagle supposed to be happy? By being an eagle. How is a parrot supposed to be happy? By being a parrot. My friends, when one wants to be something they are not, by appearing to be something they are not, by doing things, by wanting to be applauded, you will be very unhappy because that isn't you. God gave you talents and beautiful qualities. Use them to help others and be happy while you do so. No one is as happy as the person that does what they were born to do. They do it easily, they enjoy it, and they help others feel better and improve their lives by little or a lot every single day. No wonder Jesus said in Matthew chapter 16, verse 25, "For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." My friends, like St. Francis of Assisi would say, men lose all the material things they leave behind them in this world, but they carry with them the reward of their charity and the alms they give. For these they will receive from the Lord the reward and recompense they deserve. And not only in the material things, but God will reward and recompense your life in the affective and emotional in so many different ways. Like the happiness we need to live and the liberty we feel when we are with God. The world acts backwards, my friends, and that's why it is the way it is. Let's meditate, my friends. Now, take the time you need for prayer and tell Him, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening."